Hello and welcome back to Star Ladder. It is Season 7 and we are in Day 7. This is the second game of Day 7 and we're going to see 5 games today. Empire for the second time today. This time they will be up against VirtusPro. Empire on the Dire side and VirtusPro on the Radiant side. Of course with me is Wickermond. Welcome back. Okay, that's not a good sound from Skype. That's definitely not a good sound for Skype. Wow, it is very typical. It was working fine beforehand, but unfortunately, well, we're gonna have to wait until he is back once more. Until then, we're gonna just see what these teams are having in store for each other. Now, I, for one, and I think there's a lot of people with me as well, so I'm just gonna cut the Skype sound for a little bit there. So, I, for one, when I know that VirtusPro is drafting, when I know that Goblak is drafting, I'm normally expecting something extraordinary. So I'm expecting something like Centaur. We've seen that before from Goblak. I don't know. I don't know normally what I was expecting, but normally I want to have something that I don't actually expect from Goblak. So hopefully he's going to be doing that justice here in this game. And hopefully for Empire they find a way to deal with that. Although lately VirtusPro's draft, I mean, they haven't been as strong as we have been used to seeing them from Goblak, but who knows, maybe this game he'll be able to come back stronger than ever. Wickermond, welcome back.
Good to be back. Yeah, VP and Empire, honestly, both teams have had a little bit of a shaky start to their Star Ladder seasons. Particularly, I think a lot of people had this expectation that this all-star lineup for VirtusPro would just come in and really dominate, and they've had trouble doing so. Obviously, yesterday with Power Rangers, and actually both of their games were pretty shaky, although they did win the latter one. Honestly, it takes a while for a new roster, especially one with 5 players who all came from basically 5 different teams, to sort out and make sure that they're always coordinated as a team. But I think they still have a tremendous amount of potential in this roster, and it's one that's very interesting to watch.
Yeah, one thing that I find also interesting about the new VirtusPro lineup is that all players that are, like, 4 of them, are very dominant people, like in personalities. Goblak, Captain, of course, normally drafter, and he is captain here as well, so he is maybe in the easiest role. G, who has just a very dominant personality, he's still playing solo mid, but normally someone that is maybe a little bit tougher to control. NS used to be, of course, captain of VirtusPro. Resolution, also a solo mid player. I normally think solo mid players in general are maybe a little bit more dominant in personality, but actually, that's not always true. Don't put me down on that one. But also just someone with spirit, so it's tough indeed to fit them together and to actually make everything like a well-oiled machine. But we're gonna see if they came one step closer yesterday, as indeed the last game was a pretty strong one. We do have,
and they pulled off. They were behind for a bit in that last game, and they managed to really bring it together. I agree with you. I think there's definitely a potential of a lot of sort of alpha male type interactions that they'll have to walk through, but that's been true of a lot of teams in the past, including extremely successful ones. I mean, the most famous example is when they formed the IG team in 2011, and they took 5 players, I think 3 or 4 of whom were their team captains, all of whom played mid or carry.
Yeah, didn't they just put the top 5 from the CDEC, basically?
Yeah.
And just say, you're gonna play together and you're gonna make it work.
It's possible that VP just needs a little bit of time to adjust both, as you said, their personalities to each other, their play styles, and all these players are very, very, very high level players. So.
Yeah. So for Empire, ban out the OD, ban out the Bear Rider, IO, and Weaver banned out by VirtusPro. And we have got some standard pickups. I mean, we've seen all these before earlier on in the earlier rounds as well. Of course, Abaddon made it through, was able to be picked up by Empire. Gyrocopter picked up fairly early, I believe. I mean, picked up. I like him, don't get me wrong. I think he's pretty strong, but I don't think he was going to be banned out. But oh well, Empire looking pretty happy with him anyways as the first pickup. Naga, Siren, and Visage, definitely a strong support duo. If it is indeed going to be a support duo, because of course we know that Naga Siren isn't necessarily a support, and these Russian teams are actually one of the only ones that I still see that actually use him as a carry sometimes. But for now, I think we're going to assume that it is going to be support roles. That makes Empire's job of banning heroes out against VirtusPro maybe a little bit easier, because they can just ban out those core heroes that they do not want to face.
When you ban out, when you take Abaddon, it does make it a little more tempting to ban out that Gyrocopter, simply because Gyro is one of those heroes like Weaver that can just dive with the Aphotic Shield and blow up your heroes very, very easily in lane. So I think it's actually pretty smart if you want Gyro, if he's part of your strategy, to take him this early, because he does run the risk of getting a second phase ban. Meanwhile, for a VP, I mean, this is Naga Visage. She really is not that much to talk about. I think, as you said, there is the, I would say, like 30% chance that they decide not to run the Naga in a support position, and that's just that possibility is very strong in drafting, because you always want to draft things early that don't give away your plans too much. But even if Naga is a support, there's still a lot of ways that VP can run.
Yeah, I like Goblik's ban out of the center. We saw him running center Abaddon before, and he doesn't want to be up against it. I don't blame him. We've got a lot of tanky heroes banned out, or at least a couple. Timbersaw also removed from the pool. And Templar Assassin, not necessarily tanky, but of course with Refraction. And imagine her having and Refraction and Aphotic Shield. It's just not something that is fun to play against. And they banned it out, rightfully so. Of course, we know that Scandal plays a pretty mean Templar Assassin.
Right. One of his absolute, most... Back in the day when TA was a little bit overpowered, before she got a couple rounds of nerfs, Scandal played her all the time, and he really was one of the heroes that, even with a strong hero, was able to just excel and have fantastic positioning. There's a lot of finesse involved in playing Templar Assassin, and he was able to really maximize the value of it. You can see even his avatar is Templar Assassin, right?
True, that is definitely true. If that's not a saying, then a statement, then I don't know what is. We have a Darkseer banned out for the last one. I mean, all cores or solos banned out by Empire. Both Timbersaw and Darkseer could be on the off lane. And Empire, of course, having the ball in their court. They have so far used the most of their bonus time. They only have half a minute left. And well, it's a lot of pressure. I mean, especially since both teams are, of course, from a CAS scene. Going up against Goblik the Drafter, you have to be thinking everything through so well. Like, there's a lot of pressure on you. Empire goes for the Enigma, though.
Mag did not draft for IC Cup, whereas obviously there's a lot of drafting talent on VP, right? Like Goblik, NS, both good drafters. Even Resolution had pretty good drafts when he did for IC Cup.
Yeah.
This is two former teammates, by the way, both of whom are no longer on their team, so the IC Cup diaspora is represented in this game.
Yeah, there's young talent being scattered around the well, more established teams right now, I guess.
Right. Well, Mag's been around for a while.
For sure.
Resolution definitely a very new player.
Very young player as well. Although I believe he's now 17 actually instead of 16. We can't stop calling him 16. Oh well. We have Enigma and Clockwork picked up by Empire. So we're going to see probably Enigma in the jungle again. So far, not really that much change, at least for those two from a previous game. Because of course, previous game they had the same two heroes. And apparently they like to have them. And we're going to see if they can make it work for them again. We have Lifestealer and Nature's Prophet by VirtusPro. Also two very strong heroes. As you have, of course, got the Infest that you can use to get yourself all over the map with the Nature's Prophet. 10 seconds. The only heroes that we miss for both sides are the mids. We're going to see who is going to take the upper hand in that. I think VirtusPro might have a slight edge because they are the ones to have the last pick, aka can counter pick whatever Empire is having.
Yeah, if Empire decide to grab something like Queen of Pain and Puck isn't banned, VirtusPro could always respond with the Puck. And so on and so forth. If Queen of Pain isn't banned and they take something that's like Dragon Knight, then VirtusPro could just respond by taking Queen of Pain. So yeah, they just ban it. They don't want to deal with that sort of dilemma with a hero like that. And yeah, I do think that there's some options. Like, you can run Clockwork mid. You can run... technically, you can run Lifestealer mid, although I don't really recommend it in this case. And Naga mid was briefly a fad as well. So there's even if they don't end up with a mid they're totally happy with, there's some flexibility, but not very much. I do expect both teams to grab things like Puck if they're available.
Yeah, of course, previous game Empire went for the Dragon Knight. Perhaps they want to try that again. And I mean, if you have
now
first
that Quack's
pickup,
gone.
Yeah. If you have first pickup, Dragon Knight is a pickup that you can do that. I mean, it's not that easily counterable, as in there's not that easy to have a hero up against him that can actually kill off the Dragon Knight, that actually wins the lane so hard that Dragon Knight loses the lane. And that's normally not the case. So it would be a very safe pickup if Empire goes for that. Of course, we still have Puck and Storm in the pool, should they want to go for that. But then again, if there's a Storm, then the Puck will be a counter towards that. If there's a Puck, then, well...
VP could go Storm. I think they will.
And we'll see what they end up going for. We only have a little bit of time left for Empire in terms of bonus time. Only 15 seconds left in total, and
10 seconds.
well, they're gonna use it.
The question is really, what do you go against Storm now? Do you go Puck, I guess?
Oh.
Troll?
Oh,
Well, now Troll with Enigma is pretty legit too, because again, he ramps up your pushing ability. And Troll is a fine mid. Kaipi's been playing with him a lot.
yeah, we saw Troll. I mean, Empire was up against Troll in the previous game. They saw it not work. So maybe they have a
Yeah.
new plan that, like, okay, you know what, that actually was kind of cool. We want to try too, but we're going to try different.
I'm sure they practiced it too.
You know, you're going to assume that your solo mate has practiced the hero that gets put on.
Yeah.
At least that's what you hope
It's
5
they.
seconds remaining.
Thing about Troll is last game he was running a 1 position and he really needed to be doing a lot of damage, but he went Blink. Blink is not that terrible of an item for Troll Warlord, but if you're in the 1 role and you need to be doing damage, Blink does 0 damage. So in this case where he's mid, he definitely has a lot of different options. I still think... I don't think Troll really changes the logic about Storm Spirit. He is a hero that rushes BKB, which makes Storm Spirit a lot less effective, but I still think Storm could be a very big impact in this game.
for. And they're taking their time.
I
of
thought
course.
that when they banned Nyx Assassin, that meant they were going to do Storm.
Yeah, maybe the Troll kind of gave them a pause in terms of who they're going to be up against.
Yeah, I think you're right. It definitely sort of... They maybe weren't totally expecting it. Although, honestly, Goblak has been playing around with Troll as well. It's all these new heroes are... As I said before, like, they all have such amazing spells and, like, their capacity for being impactful that it's no surprise we're seeing all 4, really.
Yeah, perhaps now VirtusPro, not knowing that there's a Troll and a Gyrocopter, I mean, they kind of need a secondary core as well, unless they want to make it late game when Nature's Prophet can turn into one. I mean, they only have the Life Stealer thus far, so perhaps Dragon Edge for them, or maybe even a Razor wouldn't be too bad of a choice. Shadow?
DK is a decent
No,
choice,
there you go,
but...
Storm still. You're right.
Yeah. It's not even that Storm is so much the better pick here, it's that they kind of configured their draft to take this Storm 5th. And so they don't want to switch horses in midstream. I think DK would have been okay, but I think the Storm actually has more potential to take over the game. And also, G, I doubt this guy likes playing DK that much. It's not really his style.
He likes to play those aggressive mids indeed, and I think on a Storm he'll be pretty happy. Let's see who will be playing what. VirtusPro, of course, will be on the Radiant side for this game. G indeed playing his Storm Spirit. NS will take on the Visage. We have got Resolution on the carry role, playing the Life Stealer for this game, making his way towards the bottom lane. He'll be supported by Goblak, who will play the Naga Siren. Light of Heaven will play the Nature's Prophet. He is going to go to... Well, he's going to probably start out in the jungle, depending on what he's expecting. He knows that he probably can't do that much up against an Abaddon and a Gyrocopter, so for now, not going to happen, as Empire tries to make the same move as they did previous. But this time, VirtusPro is not going to try and place a ward on the hard camp, so they won't be able to scout anybody out. And I did introduce everybody in VirtusPro. Yeah, that was everybody. 5 players.
Wait, which team did you actually get?
VirtusPro.
Right, that's what I thought. Looking towards Empire, they are attempting this trap again, as you mentioned. It's smart to try to do it even if you don't catch anybody, just to protect that easy jungle. So it's going to be Mag in the second game on a row on Clockwork. Last game he honestly kind of dominated, so we'll see how he does this time. In the mid it'll be Scandal piloting the Troll Warlord. He has taken Berserker's Rage first, which is kind of cool. We're going to watch how that pans out. And then in the top lane it'll be Silent on the Gyro, supported by Vanskor on the Abaddon, with Always Wanna Fly in the jungle on Enigma. And I think he played Enigma last game too, so
Yeah,
quite a bit of role reprisal.
Yeah, both Mag and Always Wanna Fly playing the same roles once again. I'm very curious to see how Scandal is going to do here. He did get pulled quite heavily. He picked himself up a Poor Man's Shield and got a Salve and a Tango from Always Wanna Fly. Of course, sacrificed his own gold for that, and just has 4 clarities for himself to keep himself up in terms of mana in the jungle.
Yeah.
G though, having a good start here in the mid lane, already getting 4 last hits. Scandal not missing anything just yet though. I mean, the creep wave is just being pushed out, and will just mean that he has the last hit under his tower. And actually, with the Berserker's Rage, he can actually do that fairly easy. I think he will be able to, yeah, he'll be fine.
It does definitely help, and not taking Whirling Axes first makes sense, since it's not like he's going for a kill or anything, so or clashing. Storm is definitely stronger in this lane than Dragon Knight would have been. Dragon Knight wouldn't have had the easiest time. But actually, Scandal is last hitting really well. He only just now missed his first last hit.
Yeah, and G getting harassed away a little bit. And of course, with Scandal now having, I mean, he had Berserker's Rage, so he can toggle. And that means that he can limit down a bit of aggressment as well on G, unexpected perhaps.
Yep.
Because you can switch, of course, basically instantly.
Well, his normal mode is well, not normal, but his default mode is ranged mode,
Yeah.
which does let him do some harassment. But I do like this. I think DK would. I haven't studied the DK
Mag.
versus Troll matchup. Oh,
Mag went for Flare first, no cogs. He'll be first blood picked up by Lifestealer Resolution. Having the first blood, I mean, it's a very easy kill if there's no cogs. There's an ensnare, there's a slow, and I mean, there's an open wound. There's just no way to get away from that one if you're a Clockwork without cogs.
No, not at all. And there's enough damage that could be thrown out on him that maybe he felt that the flare would be a fine pickup, but he does get punished. That was a good kill, good way to start off Resolution, who honestly hasn't been last hitting quite as well as he can. He has a lot of denies, which is good, but you could just see Gyro's a little bit ahead.
Gyro, who's also been pushing the lane out and tries to get some last hits on some trios as well, which he actually gets, so that's nice. But Silent definitely having a lot of fun here. Picked up Flak Cannon and is actually leveling it. That means that Nature's Prophet will get harassed away the moment that he shows his face. And at the same time does also mean that of course the lane will be pushed out, making Nature's Prophet still get some experience, which is of course good for him in return. But I still think he was going to go into the jungle sooner rather than later, purely because you just can't do that much on the top lane. They can't block the camps unless they can do it with Treants, which they tried, but stacking and pulling will still be done by Vanscore, and the lane equilibrium will be kept up by Silent, and yeah, we do see now Light of Heaven rotating into that jungle.
Yeah, he's done his job to some extent. He has denied a little bit of XP, but he's not really going to be able to approach the lane, so honestly it makes sense. Silent, by the way, going for a level of stats, which is interesting. It's not something we that commonly see here. If Light of Heaven comes back to lane, he's gonna wish. I feel like maybe even just one rank of either Rocket Barrage or Homing Missile would be helpful, but
yeah, kind of interesting. We don't normally see that. Whoa! Farming battle is on. Resolution has got his hand of Midas 3.5 minutes into the game. We did see him starting out with yeah, he only started out with 1 tangle and 2 branches, like that was all. Still had the rest of the gold in his inventory, and actually yeah, so you just got it very fast. Didn't get pulled the tangles, which was what I was checking just in case how to see how well, how fast they wanted to have that Midas up. At 3.5 minutes, still very fast. And Silent, I'm not expecting him to go for a Hand of Midas, but maybe he's gonna get forced to because of the Hand of Midas on the Lifestealer.
I doubt very much that he's going to go Hand of Midas. I honestly think the Midas is kind of interesting. It does put a lot of faith in G. Like, the implication of the Midas is I'm fairly confident that G is going to be able to dominate the game, giving me a lot of space to go over the top of Scandal and Silent. Which, it's good for a team to show confidence in each other like that. If it works, I mean, if Storm Spirit does have a very good early to mid game, then I think it'll pay off in spades. However, if Storm Spirit struggles, you're going to really wish your Lifestealer had more around the 15-minute mark.
Yes, for now, Storm Spirit is doing better than the Troll. He is 25-3, Scandal sitting on 22-5, so the difference is not that big. Yeah. The one thing that is of course now going in favor of Empire is the tier 1 tower on the top lane that went down. So that means that Empire gets himself a little bit of extra kick of gold, which is going to be really needed because they need an extra kick of something, because Mag is not getting anything done. He is still level 1. And Clockwork is not one of the heroes that will rotate into the jungle. He can't. He can't farm into the jungle. Maybe if he snipes experience away from Always Wanna Fly, but that's also not something that you want to be doing, because Always Wanna Fly, he needs his experience. They're counting on him to get his level 6, to get his black hole and help out with fights and such.
For sure. They're doing a good job of pushing, but yeah, here's the Light of Heaven. Mag, probably dead again. He still doesn't have cogs, because he's still level 1.
Yeah, ooh, TP coming in though. Vanscore, I want to make them pay for it. And actually forces them
maybe
away.
they can get Light of Heaven. The Scandal is going to toss melee axes, yeah.
Nice kill for Scandal.
Yeah, Troll can just do a lot of close quarters damage if he gets the levels for that rank 4 whirling axes quickly. Oh, Silent trouble.
Yeah, well, lightning away though, because in comes Always Wanna Fly with the Malefice ready.
Too scary.
Still level 5, but yeah, you kind of don't want to be around there.
Actually, Mag not dying is very, very, very important. And good job, Vanscore, for TPing over. Because this takes Mag all the way from level 1 to level 3. Because they dove him, so the lane pushed up. That's really important. If he had died and gotten stuck on level 1, you can almost write Clockwork off as a business expense for the game. Because Storm Spirit, once he hits level 6 and has ultimate, will be able to hunt that level 1 Clockwork to the ends of the earth. And instead, Mag, has stabilized.
Yeah, we'll be able to have a bit of an impact later on in the game again, hopefully for him. And of course, Scandal. I mean, we talked about how the mid lane was going to be important, especially to warrant the Hand of Midas on the Lifestealer, to see if G can make something happen in the mid game. He is rotating. He actually has Lifestealer infested in him, and they're looking for Mag, who is sitting next to Ancient. So this is going to be basically a failed gank, and of course wasted time for both of these heroes. And in the meantime, Scandal was still farming, plus he got that kill on the Nature's Prophet, so he is now getting ahead of the Storm Spirit. Look at the net worth difference, it's now up to 800 gold. Of course, one tower in favor of Empire, still has to take that into account, and actually might be going for Godlike here, range attacks. Not going to be enough though. In comes a shield, will help him keep up. Vanscore once again on deck to save his teammates. And Sentry Ward getting placed, so that will be the counter for the Observer Ward up on the high ground.
Yeah. The positioning not quite safe enough for Scandal to dive that harder than he did, but it does, cause the support staff to peel off. Goblek has to go all the way back home, in fact. And yeah, the very good instincts from Mag hanging out near the Ancients when they tried to charge up for him. Now level 4 on Clockwork, so he's really reaching the point at which it becomes at least a little more difficult for Storm to kill him, giving time for his teammates to come save him.
Yeah, moving up in the world for sure.
Yes.
We have Enigma level 6, so he has got that black hole, he has got a soul ring as well as some normal boots. I'm quite curious to see if he's gonna go for fast mechanism again, rather than going for Blink Dagger or BKB. Of course, previous game was mechanism, BKB, Blink Dagger. In this game, I'm kind of expecting the same, assuming that Empire wants to start fighting when Clockwork is actually able to. But it all really depends on what they decided, and of course, Always Wanna Fly will have a build that will basically tell us what they decided that they will try and do in this game.
Right. I mean, Resolution, this Midas, because he got it so early, it will start paying off pretty soon, in addition to just being very useful for XP. So he was a little bit ahead of Gyro, although Gyro is actually, Silence doing very well. He is getting the Gyrocopter version of Midas, which is the early Helm of the Dominator. So as long as they're able to effectively stack, which is Light of Heaven currently stacking for them?
Yeah, the Ancients are being stacked. Well, with
This is very confident. If they really use the treants, okay, he's just scouting. Okay.
I was gonna say like that would be the most awkward thing ever. Light of Heaven scouting, like it's like, oh my god, sorry guys, I forgot we're radiant.
No, I don't think it would be a forgetting thing. It would be very arrogant, because it would be, we're gonna get this tier 1 bot and we know that we'll take your ancient stack.
Yeah,
but that would be,
that's too much.
I don't see the fundamentals of this game making that worth it.
He was just scouting it out.
Yeah.
Light of Heaven, by the way, almost having his own Hand of Midas, assuming that he is still gonna go for that, which I think we can assume. Sorry for the bottle of water that just fell over by the sounds of that. Here comes a smoke gang up on Silent with a vortex open wounds there from the infested lifesteal, and that should be Silent going down. Still lands a cooldown, but nobody really cares because he's dead. And VirtusPro is not. Maybe Scandal can make something happen. No, in comes the Axe, slowing down too. He is by himself. His supports are on his tail, but is it gonna be too late? In comes Vanscore, gives Scandal a shield, gives him a heal. Not a shield just yet, but no real thing that Scandal could actually do there apart from forcing them back, not allowing them to take a tower off the back of that gyrocopter.
Yeah, Scandal, I mean, if Always Wanna Fly and Vanscore are there, you could make some hay of it, but because they are both of them are in brown boots, they just can't catch up to the phase boots troll that's running at 435, right? So, unfortunately they lose Silent. That was a very, very good kill, honestly, for VP. Was sort of getting a little bit more ahead than you'd want him to. I think he bought out for the Helm of the Dominator before he died. He's okay, but it's a great kill for VP anyway.
Yeah, we have a Abaddon stealing the double damage rune away from the Storm Spirits, or Storm forced to go all the way back to base. And we have a Abaddon sitting at level 6. Now he hasn't picked up his 6th skill point just yet, but I'm gonna assume that he wants to have borrowed time, depending on what situation he's gonna be in first. Is he gonna try and chase someone down? Does he need a slow? Or is he gonna be chased down by someone else? Does he need his borrowed time? So far not picking up anything just yet, but...
Well, I think it's more likely he was deciding between a 3rd rank of shield and the borrowed time. because the extra shield damage could be relevant. I doubt he'll take Avernus this early. We mostly see Abaddon's not even bothering to level Avernus until after they max Mist Coil and Shield. The first time I thought it was really weird, but the more I think about it, these abilities, Mist Coil is so low cooldown that you want to leverage, you want it to do as much as possible every time you cast it, which is every 5 seconds. So I actually kind of like this approach.
And he's actually TPing top to see if he can help the Gyrocopter here, because Gyrocopter might be in some trouble. Nice ward that was already pre-countered by VirtusPro. They had a central ward standing there, so nice awareness from VirtusPro support. I mean, talking about supports, I mean, we just said that the Abaddon turned level 6. Goblak is already a level 7, even almost level 8, but we still have Visage sitting at level 5. He is trying to get some extra experience right now on the bottom lane, where he's now farming by himself, but those familiars have a big impact. So he really needs his levels. He is sharing the lane with Mag, by the way, who's almost level 6 as well, so also a little bit behind there. But we'll be soon reaching his level 6.
Yeah, this is very smart farm allocation from VP. You can see that, and this is how a smart team is going to operate, right? If they know that a hero is behind and needs a safe space to farm, this is the safest spot on the Radiant map to try to farm up in. So they give it to NS, and you can see Resolution, even though he would be getting more by being in the lane, is just spending a little bit of time in the jungle, sharing that with Light of Heaven so that they can catch Visage up. So it's smart, intelligent play to give the farm allocation to the support who badly needs to hit level 6. And Clockwork, however, has also hit his 6, so he's still very much not in the same place he was last game. They're going to try to... I don't think they can sneak Rosh here. This is kind of iffy.
Yeah, Resolution actually scouting this out. Of course it goes fairly fast, but it's...
Troll is really good at killing Rosh.
Gee, what you doing? They're gonna scout out Scandal. The Vortex will be there, and in comes the shield though. Canceling the Vortex.
Amazing shield.
Oh, shot! Up on the familiars. Goblak will be the first one to get picked up. No song in this fight. Storm trying to zip himself out. Scandal looking for a target. Finds Resolution. That's gonna be a kill. Can he find G as well? There will be a zip away. Should be in time. Should be fine. But 2 heroes picked off, and that will be Roshan for Empire for sure.
Yeah, so I guess people just saw the power of this, but I want to just be clear. Dark Tree plus Troll Warlord is a really, really excellent combo. We talked last game about the imperative factors of making sure that your Troll is good time on target, and the usual way that you solve that is by rushing BKB, which has its own downsides, like the fact that BKB mostly just does that. When you have Abaddon, when you have Dark Tree available, that aphotic shield ensured not only that Scandal didn't die, it let him immediately turn the fight around, and all of VP are just like, oh crap, we gotta run. Because Whirling Axes, the melee version, is a pretty freaking good nuke early on. Plus, he does good damage if he's able to stay hitting the target. And like Resolution, he just melted.
On top of that, that Vortex is one of the 2 only solid disables that they actually have. So if you can already, like, basically get VirtusPro's shutdown decreased by half by just 1 shield, that has a very big impact, of course. As well, they took down the Ancient stack off of that, they took the Roshan off of that, and of course they got themselves some extra levels, and Gold Mag on level 7. Scandal level 11, of course, very important for his Berserker's Rage, as we might have a bit of a gank going on up on Silent in the mid lane. Let's see if he's gonna be safe. Actually, looks like G backs himself off again. But
Silent backed off too.
Yeah.
I think he, however, still needs BKB probably.
Silent, yeah. Oh, and Snare up on Scandal. Also, we have Lifestealer. Open wounds are there. Can he try to turn this around, though? He's actually going toe-to-toe. This is a man-fight infest. It is Resolution that ends up dodging. Still, the Aegis gets burned. As Naga Siren also goes down. But, I mean, it's still 1 for an Aegis. It's still pretty decent. I mean, it didn't cost him that much.
They're gonna get tower.
They're gonna get a tower off of this as well.
This is the thing about Troll has a passive bash. So as soon as he adds Lifesteal to this combo, he can probably outduel Lifestealer, because again, Lifestealer has, well, now he has Armlets, that's good, but the fact that he did go this Midas means it'll still be a while before he's really ahead of where Troll is able to do damage in.
And that's just pretty scary. If you're a hard carry that goes Hand of Midas at 3.5 minutes, cannot win a man fight up against your opponent enemy carry, well, carry slash solo mid.
Yeah, at that point he just had the Midas.
Yeah.
So he had nothing other than that.
True.
Abyssal is going to be a really important item for Lifestealer this game. You're not going to see him go it. I don't think he'll go it next, but he has to go it pretty soon. because it'll be very important to stun that troll at the beginning of a fight and then try to chain bashes. Because if you just rely on like proccing a bash, or you don't have basher, troll will destroy you. He will destroy this lifestealer. In fact, he might destroy him right now.
Oh, he's gonna try. Resolution already down to half HP. Of course, that's without his armlet on. Scandal is gonna get some help, perhaps. Troll or there can be a hookshot incoming from the clockwork.
He's gonna hook. He wants the creeps to die. But this is really iffy. Now, once he sees the other players, they won't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, in comes G, in comes Goblak. Scary things happening here in the Iridian jungle. Troll backs himself out. Very scary. Very lucky for resolution that in comes Cavalry, basically. I mean,
Sure,
G and Light of Heaven and Goblak?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it luck. I think they knew. They had really good instincts there. They smelled something. I don't know if they saw the invisibility pickup for Scandal, but either way, the lack of troll on the map, the lack of clock on the map, they were like, we should probably get some defense. And that was good, because if Mag and Scandal had gone for that, they would have gotten destroyed.
Yeah, one extra thing that I just want to point out in this matchup, basically, is that we just saw the familiars getting picked up by Scandal, because those whirling axes, they just basically killed off the familiars. There's nothing that Visage can do apart from keeping them away from the troll. And he right now cannot resummon them for another 75 seconds.
Yeah, very good for Empire. They also had a great escape there, Silent finding the exact right time to get out of the lane. Light of Heaven has Resolution, or no, Resolution left, but they were almost about to pick off Silent just before he got his BKB, which would set him a long way back, like about 400 gold back. Instead, he manages to finish the BKB and get out. So everything's really coming up roses for Empire right now. And the problem is, we talked about how Lifestealer Midas was relying on Storm to have a huge game. Storm's behind the Enigma on levels.
Yeah, Storm is level 9. This is pretty troublesome. I mean, he is level 9 while his opponents are level 10, 11, 12. And as a solo mid, you in theory should be highest on the map. Well, that gets a bit forgiven, of course, since there are two-handed Midases in this game, so those two will get ahead. Yeah. But he's still quite a bit away. And even the Hand of Midas heroes, I mean, Lifestealer, the Hand of Midas so early, is still only a level behind the Gyrocopter.
Right, precisely. I mean, I think G hasn't had the game that he was expecting to have, honestly. And the troll did change things. Like, that's why they sort of hesitated, and they were like, do we still want to go for the Storm Spirit here? But he's also just had trouble finding people out. There was this great opportunity to just take Mag out of the game completely that, frankly, VP just failed at. They were not able to make Mag a non-factor.
Yeah, we've got everybody of Empire rotating middle. Kind of expecting them to maybe trying to make a move, yeah. Though the Flare definitely scout out Resolution. Resolution can jump into G. It feels like VirtusPro might be trying to make a Storm Stealer bomb, as it's called.
But now that Gyro has BKB, it's so much harder.
Yeah, Light of Heaven barely has enough mana to TP out. He, by the way, is sitting on 2,500 gold, is now TPing out, but yeah, Mag just saw you. So in comes the Cogs, and down goes Light of Heaven. No way he can TP out right now, and good kill for Empire. I mean, they rotated everybody on the top lane. It might not be completely worth it, but at least they get something out of their rotation.
Oh, I think it's great to just take Light of Heaven out of the picture for a while. It's certainly they did spend 5 heroes to do it, but Scandal can still farm the jungle a little bit here. And this troll's doing very well. This is a much more effective troll than we saw last game. 80% teamfight participation. He had this early Yasha phase for great movement speed, and now he has lifesteal. Like I said, that's the last missing piece for him to start being really scary.
Yeah, we probably will soon see Sanjin Yasha or something like that coming off from Scandal. I like
Manta's really good for troll too, because he's a pretty good pusher.
Yeah, especially if he wants to go for some quick push. I mean, make your illusions get that Berserk Rage.
He can just hang on to Yasha for a while too.
We'll see what he goes for. He's sitting on, or he was sitting on quite a lot of gold, and it will turn into, well, you know, he picked up an Ogre Club. Unless he wants to have 3 different items in his inventory at the same time, which is like, as in he's starting to build, for example, BKB right now. This could still be a Sanjin Yasha. But we'll see. What is G doing? He has an Invis rune. It looks like he wants to go for Mag, but he needs someone else there.
Right.
Or doesn't. Apparently he doesn't. He tries to go on Mag. In comes a TP. And now G, yeah, you have to get away. Zips himself out. Well, that's just a bit of wasted mana there. And I guess he wasted, or he forces out 2 TPs from Empire. So that's good. As Lifestealer is infested in Light of Heaven, forcing out the BKB. The first BKB charge from the gyrocopter there, who felt like he was needing to do that, as there was the familiar picked up. No surprise there.
I'm actually surprised that Mag didn't use hookshot to stun G. I thought that they might just try to turn it all the way around. But then again, the people TPing in were Abaddon and Enigma, who can't stop Storm from getting away after that.
Yeah, Godlike. Ooh, hookshot misses. Of course, have we seen a Stung from Godlike yet this game?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. He's level 9 right now. He can try and use it right now if he wants to. But what is he actually? What would he set up for? Familiar disables? Probably. Oh, they're gonna try and fight this. The open wounds up on silent. They know the BKB is on cooldown, but in comes a black hole. Resolution having to back out, but there is the song to stop that black hole from happening. Are they gonna continue going? They might, but they don't really have resolution there anymore. Light of Heaven from the side has to run away from the flak cannon. Still gets chased down by Scandal. Tries to be invisible, but the flare comes in and the whirling axis, and there he goes. It's the only victim of this fight. I think it could be a lot worse for VirtusPro.
Could be. But
I think Empire looked pretty safe all the time.
Scandal's going to go for BKB after all. I actually think this is really smart. The Aphotic Shield was good for the very beginning. It means... what Aphotic Shield means is that you don't have to rush the BKB before anything else. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't get it. It's still a great item for Troll. So I think this is absolutely the correct approach for Scandal here. I've loved every piece of this item build so far. And just generally his play has been... This is exactly how I think Troll is going to be run.
Yes. Solo mid also? Or still maybe in a carry role at some point as well. Because he was solo mid. He didn't do that bad up against the Storm. Whoa,
no, he did
Storm,
quite well.
Do you really want to be here? Nature's Prophet TPing in as well with an infested lifesteal. They go for silent. The shield is there though, and that's Storm dead. That's Nature's Prophet dead. A Resolution running for his life, but I don't think he can run from this one. Triple kill for Silent. You try ganking up a gyrocopter, but his entire team around him. And he's just gonna take you down, sitting on 5,100 gold. It is 2-9, definitely not a lot of kills in this game, but I mean, that means that all the kills that do happen are all the more important, as Silent just getting a triple.
Yeah, I mean, how sobering is it if you're VirtusPro and you do the combo and it fails as miserably as it failed there, right? Like, you do they didn't do it wrong. It just isn't enough at this point. They're too far behind for that to be effective, so... You don't kill Silent. In fact, you give him most of a butterfly. You give Troll the rest of his BKB. It's... By the way, how old does Lifestealer feel in some of these engagements lately? Like, how, like, dueling Troll and just getting bursted down almost immediately?
Yeah.
The hero is just starting to feel a little bit outdated.
Yeah, we're gonna see Mag getting picked off, or at least attempted to. He does indeed go down, and Ness in the end with the last hit there. Familiar is also helping out, of course. So at least VirtusPro gets something, but you're absolutely right. It feels outdated. And he is not getting the best of this. There are so many teams experimenting with Troll, and as we saw previous game, Elder Titan, we've seen Centaurs, Abaddon, of course, as well. And Lifestealer just hasn't really been able to find his place up against those heroes yet. And the question is, does he have a place? Up against
I think Lifestealer is still really strong. I don't know if I agree with the Midas choice, honestly. I feel that a more... With the strategy they were going for, it would have been really nice for him to get the earlier armlet and just parlay that into something else. He's going Mjolnir, or rather Maelstrom now, which will give them a little bit more punch, and it takes them to sort of that later game carry status, but just in general, I mean, VP have to be worried. Clockwork is moving towards his armlet, this new semi-carry Clockwork build with the Blade Mail armlet, and that's going to be a lot of damage too.
Yeah, and we are seeing a game where on one side you have a Nature's Prophet, who is of course known for split pushing, but on the other side there's only one tower taken down so far. Only the tier 1 top has died. So far, Empire still holds on to their tier 1s in the other lanes, and of course all their tier 2s still standing as well, while on the side of VirtusPro, you have got yourself only one tower left standing, which is a tier 2 on the bottom lane. And that's basically because Empire hasn't really been caring about the bottom lane all that much. They've been hanging around mid, they've been trying to fight. Maybe at
I
some
think they
point,
want the next Roche
yeah,
after they defend this
they're
tier
already
1 mid.
trying to hang around there. They've cleared out the area in terms of wards. There's still one ward left standing, but the sentry didn't scout that one out. It's too far away.
Yeah. I mean, the lane is pushed in, so there actually is a staging area for VP to sort of approach the Roche with if they want it. That said, it's going to be really tricky to steal. Naga, if she dies, there's no hope.
Oh,
no hope.
yeah, that's going to be Godlike. You see her trying! She just puts her hands up. It's like, no, put your hands up, go, and Max says no. Every time again, it's just no song in this game. Well, we had one actually, but that's the Roshan down, that is Troll with an Aegis, and that is Empire again, one step ahead of VirtusPro. Well, I say one step, but by now they're a couple of steps ahead right now. VirtusPro needs to win a couple of fights if they want to try and take this back. They're 14k gold behind, they're 12k experience behind, and it's starting to feel out of control for them.
For sure. It's very, very scary for VP right now because their lifestealer went Midas. And, oh, sorry, so he didn't make it into a Maelstrom. He made it into a Desolator, which is fine. It's definitely more cost-efficient damage. But look at Gyrocopter. I mean, they've attempted ganks on him. They haven't been successful. I mean, they were successful once. He's got BKB, full Butterfly, Helm of the Dominator. They're nowhere near an MKB or any sort of a CC to prevent that Butterfly from being effective. G still doesn't have his Orchid, so it's just... They need space and they're not going to get it.
Lifestealer is 4 levels lower than Silent. And I mean, that's main carry versus main carry, and one with a hand of minus at 3.5 minutes. You wouldn't expect it, you wouldn't think that if you saw the levels of resolution. I mean, one thing that we know why Hand of Midas is picked up on Nature's Prophet a lot. And, oh, and Snare, Scandal, getting a rest on. Actually, he has an Aegis though, he should be fine regardless. His Aegis gets popped. Flak Cannon forces the rest of VirtusPro back as they give Troll some space to respawn. Tower will still go down. Familiar's getting picked up. Nice hook shot.
What a hook.
Gets Gob like no song for you again. Mag able to make it happen. Down goes an S on his visage as well. He buys back though, wants to be here in this fight. We still have the black hole up for Always Wanna Fly. He can try and make it happen, but his BKB is on cooldown. Open wounds up on Silent Resolution. He doesn't want to overcommit. Also G plays it safe, plays it carefully. Resolution walking away from the home missile that does get picked up. Rax though getting picked up. One more hit needed from going down. Vortex doesn't matter. There's a shield stopping the Vortex from happening. Another Familiar getting picked up, and Ness feeling more and more useless probably in this game as they all back into their fountain because that's the only place that they're safe. Look at Empire's health bar. Can you see that they've had a fight? Nope.
Right, they basically haven't. I mean, Mist Coil has been healing them a lot. This guy has Vlad's
G jumps
Urn
forward.
and a heal and a damage absorption.
Oh, the song, it at least catches out too, but that makes Empire just coming back. They're gonna try and defend their Silent. Oh, the black hole. Hello, Always Wanna Fly. Black hole and Gob like a Resolution. Both end up going down. Visage getting picked up on the sidelines, and the only one that lives right now is Nature's Prophet. But yeah, he gets picked off. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see a VirtusPro tapping out, and they do indeed do that. Empire looking solid, or VirtusPro looking weak. Which one do you say?
VirtusPro looking weak. I still feel that they're not communicating that well. Like, I just don't... I'm not gonna stop talking about this, but I don't understand, like, they had this weird mix of trying to go for very late and trying to go for very early, and G was almost completely ineffectual. Like, compare the performance of Scandal versus G in this game. The Storm Spirit was... They drafted with the Storm Spirit in mind, like the entire draft. A lot of the second half of the draft set up the Storm, and the Storm did nothing. I gotta say also, I don't know, I like this new meta. One of the cool things is 3 of the 4 new heroes are all really good at converting a lead into high ground, which is one of the things people were complaining about, is like a team will get a big advantage and then the game will just drag on. Like we had that quite a bit in TI3, I feel like. I loved it almost every game of TI3, but that was one of the issues. Troll, because of his amazing pushing speed, is really good at taking a lead and just raxing people. Elder Titan is too. And so is Centaur. So it's a very nice feature of these new heroes.
Yeah, we're gonna see hopefully more good games with Dota. The next one up is gonna be former VirtusPro. It will be Poseidon, who will be taking on X-Quantic. And the next game for StarSeries, of course, that will be Shoxka, fucking mad. And I'm assuming Miguel will be standing in as well as Mania. And I'm kind of hoping that Fada will be there again, just like Tuesday, I believe he was playing with the same roster, only then they were playing on the flip side. So then it was Shoxka and fucking mad standing in. But we're going to see them in the coming next 5 minutes. We're going to have a bit of a 5-minute break before we jump ourselves to the next game. Of course, you are watching StarSeries. This is day 7. This was game number 2 of 5 games that are here today. It is season 7 as well as day 7, so same numbers there. And we are going to be heading ourselves into the next game. So stick around. More games to come.